Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Claremont High School and freshman registration, class of 2025. Tonight, we will provide an orientation to for your student and for you as your student prepares for 9th grade at Claremont High School. All of the counselors at Claremont High School are here tonight. As we do our presentation, we welcome you to ask questions in the chat so that we can answer all the questions you may be having, and we will have an opportunity for questions and answers also at the end of our presentation tonight. So welcome to Claremont High School, class of 2025, and this is part of our beginning of open house, and we hope that you can enjoy other portions of open house tonight. The counseling staff is here tonight. The counselors at Claremont High School will serve your students from grades 9 through 12, and your student will be assigned to a counselor all 4 years. The students that we see are assigned to us by Alpha, so it will be based on the first letter of the student's last name. And Mr. Trosh is here tonight, Ms. Bergsling, Mrs. Cizik, Mr. Anderson, Mrs. Mitchell, and myself, Ms. Hebert. The first point that we want to go over is the course selection for freshman year. This is a screenshot from the Claremont High School webpage, and if you click on the Counseling tab on the top right corner of the homepage, and then select Course Selection for 21-2022, you will land on this page. And on this page, you will see information for incoming freshmen and a freshman course selection. The freshman course selection has a tutorial so that you are familiar with the process of registering for coursework. And also on the website, we have also included information about graduation and college preparation requirements. We have a link to the Claremont High School course description book, and that is a list of the courses that we offer, the grades those courses are offered, any prerequisites for those courses, and a brief description of the curriculum in each course. The third tab under course selection links is under Chs Electives option, and that is a very handy tool to review the many elective choices students have at Claremont High School. It will include electives in different departments, including visual performing arts, English, and career and technical education. And this is a handy resource to also look at electives and get a brief overview again of the elective curriculum and what each course offers. There's also information on YouTube that has been created on our course selection, so please have an opportunity to review that also. The step-by-step tutorial for course selection is reflected here. And again, it's a brief tutorial to help you with course selection. Many of you have already done so, so congratulations for finishing that. And the due date for the course selection form is tomorrow, Friday, March 12th. And we don't have office hours at this time. This is for a different student situation. All right. There are frequently asked questions, and these are all resources on the CHS webpage that you can reference as you are planning and completing your course contract for your student. And again, the incoming freshman link is shown here, or the tab that gets you to the course form. When using the form for your course selections, please make sure your student is registered under their CUSD Google account. Any device issued by the district will automatically have that authorization to use the form. If a parent is using the form with their own identity, it won't work. It has to be under the CUSD account for your student. And if you see this little orange tab show up on the course form, you'll know that you are logged in with the wrong account. Again, as long as you're logged into your CUSD account, it will work. In the example shown here, this person is using a Gmail account, and that's why it's not working properly. School will begin on Wednesday, September 1st. And the week before school begins, our school goes through a registration process to make sure that all students are ready to begin school. There are some forms that are collected. There's a registration week where we issue books. We give your student their schedule. And the registration for grade 9 will be on Thursday, August 26th. You'll also get locker information. A school ID card will be issued. And we also look forward to seeing your student and welcoming them. And also our Link crew, which is a dedicated group of juniors and seniors, are getting ready to make sure that your students are well oriented to the high school, and then have a link to all freshmen their first year to connect and provide positive role modeling and some encouragement as they begin high school. At Claremont High School, we have, generally speaking, 2 times of the day that school begins. Period 1 begins very early. It's at 6:50, and most students do not like this option. 6:50 is awfully early, and it's very limited because it's not very popular among staff members too to teach so early. The majority of students begin school at 7:55, which is period 2 at Claremont High School. And a very small minority of students can begin school at 8:54, but that's very uncommon, and that means that the school day would end at 3:55 if a student chose a start time at 8:54 a.m. All freshmen must be enrolled in 6 classes during the school year. Claremont High School has 1 lunch period, and freshmen may not leave campus for lunch. Later in high school, students can earn the privilege for being off campus at lunch with parent permission based on good attendance and satisfactory school progress. We encourage students to think about ways to get involved at Claremont High School. And there are lots of ways to be involved and to be successful on campus. Next, I will turn it over to Ms. Bergslane.
All right, so after school athletics, how do we get our students involved? If you could do the next slide for me, Ms. Seber. Perfect, thank you. So students must have a 2.0 GPA to participate in our school athletics. Athletic clearance or the physical is required to participate as well. Further information may be obtained through Mr. Mike Collins, who is our athletic director. His information is both on this slide and it's also available on our school's website. Each season of completed Claremont High School athletics earns 2.5 PE credits. Our students normally love to earn these credits this way, and we'll talk about how you can earn PE credits a little bit later in our presentation this evening. But again, per season of a sport, students have the opportunity to earn 2.5 credits. Check out the athletics page on the CHS website for additional information. All right, grades. So Triad progress grades are issued every 6 weeks at Claremont, and the grades are mailed home. The way it works is we have 2 semesters each year. And at the end of the semester, which is at the end of the 18 weeks, you will earn your final transcript grade. This grade goes on your official transcript that you will use to graduate and to apply to colleges. Now, every 6 weeks, the first 6 weeks is our Triad 1. The second 6 weeks of the semester is Triad 2. Both of those, you will get a report card mailed home to you, but they are progress reports only. Again, the grades that are official are the ones that your student will earn at the end of January and then in the middle of June. Those are the official grades. A C or better is required for all college prep courses to continue on with math and world languages each year. So it's really important that your child is doing their best and, again, earning that C so they can progress to the next level for some of our courses. All right, so credits. How many credits does my child need to earn? How do we earn credits? So each class at Claremont High School is 5 possible credits for you to earn. At the end of your high school career, you need to have earned 220 credits. The way it breaks down is each semester of high school, and there's 8 different semesters, you have the opportunity of 30 credits because every student has the opportunity of 6 classes each semester. So at the end of high school, you actually have the opportunity of 240 credits to be earned. So don't worry about making sure that you're meeting those credits, and we'll go into the specific credits in a little bit. A D is considered a passing grade to earn those 5 credits towards graduation. However, if you are earning a D in a math class, like I said, or world language, or some of the higher level science classes, you won't be meeting the prerequisite to go on to the next level of the course. For colleges, you must earn a C or higher in these classes. That's meeting the A through G requirements, which again, I'll get into in just a second. An F does not earn you any credit. So if your child were to earn an F in a class needed for graduation, that class would need to be retaken. So the Chs Graduation Requirements, like I said, it's 220 total credits towards graduation. I always ask my students, you need to know how many credits it is, and it's 220. So students that are on here, get that in your heads now so you know exactly what you need for graduation. Specifically, of those credits, 30 of them will come from social science, 40 of them will come from English. The math requirement is 20 credits, and you must pass the integrated math 1 course or an algebra class, which is our equivalent. 20 of them must come from science. And this one is one that I always get the question asked, right? So the other one is it needs to be an art, world language, or a CTE class. Students I always ask, how many credits of world language do you need? And the answer is technically 0, but they have to have 10 of one of these. For a 4-year college, however, they would need 20 credits worth. Physical education, so PE requirement is 20 credits. And then finally, the technology education requirement is 5 credits. That requirement can be met via the Tech Ed Challenge exam or the Tech Ed class at Claremont High School, or some of your students might have already passed it via the computer survey class at El Roble. So we're now going to go through the A through Gs, which are the minimum requirements to get into a 4-year college. And also at the same time, we're going to talk about the graduation requirements, and some of them are very similar. Now, you'll find when you're going through the 9th grade course request, you might say, but my child doesn't have history. That's because at CHS, you won't have history until your sophomore year of high school. That's when you start it. The graduation requirement is 1 year of world history, 1 year of US history, and then a semester of government and a semester of economics. Now, for the college requirements, it's 1 year of world history, 1 year of US history. And again, for graduation, it's a minimum of a D. For a 4-year college requirement, it's a minimum of a C grade. Next is the English. Grades 9 through 12, you have to take it all 4 years. You need to pass all 8 semesters of English. So you'll have it every semester, every year. The choices this next year are either freshman English or honors freshman English. Now, make sure that if you're signing up for that honors freshman English class, you know that there is going to be a summer requirement or a summer assignment that you're required to complete. So make sure that you are checking our website in June, and that requirement, assignment should be on our website. For the math requirement, you need 2 years of a math class at Claremont High School. One of them must be integrated math 1, and then plus 1 additional year of a math class. Now, for a 4-year college requirement, it's 3 years of math, integrated math 1, 2, and 3. And then they always recommend having a 4th year of a UC approved math class for college. So freshman math, how am I choosing my math class for next year? If you're currently in Math 8 and struggling, we might have a non-passing grade, please select Integrated Math Readiness. Now, if you're in Math 8 with a grade C- or D, so we're struggling but we are passing, please select Integrated Math 1A. If in Math 8 with a C or better, select Integrated Math 1. If you're in Integrated Math 1 and earn a C or better, select Integrated Math 2. If you're excelling in Math 8 and wish to integrate and wish to advance into Integrated Math 1, 2, please make sure that you are taking the placement exam that will be offered in late spring or early summer. If you're currently in Integrated Math 8, Integrated Math 1 with a C or better, select Integrated Math 1, 2. Now, if you're one of our few students that is currently taking Integrated Math 2 at the high school, please select Integrated Math 3. Freshman year math continued. So Integrated Math 1A is a year-long class that focuses on just the first semester of Integrated Math 1. If you take Integrated Math 1A as a freshman, as a sophomore, you will take Integrated Math 1B to fulfill the second half of your Integrated Math 1 requirement. It's a 4-semester math class that fulfills the Integrated Math 1 graduation requirement. And we place at the end of the summer or at the beginning of the summer every year, we counselors, some of the teachers from El Roble, from the high school, will look at your students' math placement, and it's based off of multiple measures. We will make sure that they are placed in the correct class. And if you are interested in the math placement exam, those dates will be placed on the school's website in late spring. Year-end math grades are reviewed again during the summer for that placement of 2021-22, and it will be verified. Moving on to science. The lab science is the D requirement for the A through Gs. For graduation, your student must complete 1 year of a life science and 1 year of a physical science. The college requirement is 1 year of a life science, and it must be biology or zoology and botany, and then 1 year of a physical science, and that has to be either chemistry or physics. Science for freshman year. So for students that are going to be taking either Integrated Math Readiness or Integrated Math 1A, you will take physical science as a freshman. If you are going into Integrated Math 1 or higher, please request biology for freshman year.
Okay, and I'm going to pick up. I thank my colleagues for giving you a lot of information. We know that that's a lot of information. The good news is you are not required to memorize all of this tonight. We go through registration with every grade level every year, this time of the year. So we have just concluded or are concluding our registration of juniors. We will start with sophomores on Monday. So you can expect that when your student is at the high school every spring, we will do a presentation for parents just to give you an overview of where they are right now and how to select courses for the future. But it's always good to begin with the end in mind. So tonight really is just to give you an overview so that you have some peace of mind that, hey, I'm on the right track and knowing what I'm selecting by tomorrow when they have their forms submitted. So I'm going to reiterate some things since you have turned in or will be turning in those forms, just to reiterate the fact that PE is a graduation requirement. It is required in the freshman year. It's designated as freshman PE, and students need to have 20 credits of it. So all students will be enrolled in PE, in which they will earn those 10 of the 20 credits that they need. The additional 10 that they need for graduation can be gained in different ways. Now, in the spring of their freshman year, they will take an exam called the Fitnessgram. Students who pass the Fitnessgram can take PE kind of on their own. They can take it in their sophomore year, junior, or senior year. Students who don't pass that Fitnessgram, they will take the additional year of PE in their 10th grade year. Also, students who pass the Fitnessgram have that option that if they do sports, like we said before, they can actually earn their remaining 10 PE credits via sports. So keeping in mind that every season of a sport is worth 2.5 PE credits, 4 seasons of a sport would equate to the 10 remaining PE credits. So if you have a child who will be doing sports starting next year throughout 4 years of high school, then they can earn their remaining 10 credits that way. Next slide. Okay, a little more information about that world language visual arts requirement. So as Ms. Bergslien had explained, that for graduation, you can fulfill this requirement in one of 3 different ways: a year of language, a year of language, a year of art, or a year of ROP or career tech ed coursework. Those are courses such as stage design. Some of our computer classes fall into that category. For college-bound students, they do have to take 2 years of the same language, as well as a year of art. And again, we will go over this with students each year. Since most of our electives do fall under the art category, it's really easy to get that art requirement completed because most of our electives, or at least many of them, fall under art. So whether it's visual arts, performing arts such as children's theater, broadcasting, photography, those are all just some examples, choir, of the many different art requirements or art electives that we have. Next slide. A little more information about world language. So to start a world language, students must be earning a C or better in their English 8 course. There are some options for students who are more advanced in certain languages such as Spanish, that requires a placement test. So a lot of our students who are native speakers might look to take that Spanish Heritage Speakers 1. And again, that test is something that will be held in late spring. El Roble, as students at El Roble, you're going to be notified when those dates are available to you. The 3 languages that students are fortunate to take at Claremont High School are German, Spanish, and French. And the 4th year of those languages are the IB or the AP level. Now, what we tell students when they're selecting their coursework is if they choose a language, since it's a class that we encourage them to stay in for at least 2 years if they're college bound, if not 3 or more, we do want them to choose a language that they would be comfortable in. So they are going to be given the option to select an elective language and then an alternate. If the student knows that he or she does not want to do an alternate language, then we don't want them to give us an alternate language. However, some students say, you know what, I'm really open. If I don't get Spanish, I'm equally excited to take German or French. So just keep in mind that as counselors, we're going to encourage your children to continue to take whatever language they start with, again, so that they can meet that 2-year minimum requirement for colleges. And if they do pursue the IB program later on in their junior year, they would need to have 4 years of that language. Next slide. All right, college prep electives, known as the G requirement by the UC Cal State system. So those college systems do require 1 additional year of college prep elective. That's a very easy thing for students to attain at the high school. So just think of it this way. Anything that is above and beyond the requirement becomes an elective. So once a student moves into that 2nd year of an art, that's a G elective. Once they move into the 3rd year of a world language, that's an elective. Many, if not most of our electives do fulfill that G requirement. And so again, that's a pretty easy thing for students to attain. And once they move into their junior year, especially, we'll make sure that they're on track and having that elective met. All right. So in terms of choosing coursework for next year for your rising freshmen, freshmen can take 2 electives. Once they've chosen all the required classes, they have room to take 2 electives. As I mentioned before, one of those electives can be a world language. If they are not taking a world language, then they're going to select among the many different elective choices provided. It is not mandatory that students start a language in their 1st year of high school. Many of our students will do that because again, it's a popular choice. Students are usually excited to start a language, but because it is based on their English grade, there are several students who will opt to wait until that second year to start a world language if they choose to. When they're listing their courses, please list your primary elective choice with at least 2 alternates. The more alternates we have, the better, because without those options, then we as counselors have to choose for your children, and we may choose something that they really don't want to take. So we do ask them to please give us different, unique elective alternates for each elective that they choose. All right, let's talk about honors classes. Claremont High School does offer honors freshman English, honors sophomore English, honors world history, and honors Spanish 3. Those are the honors options at Claremont High School. Those classes generally are more rigorous. They require extensive reading and writing. So this question comes up quite often. What would be good for my child? Should they take an honors class? You know your children best in terms of their work ethic, where they may have their strengths, where they may have their challenges. Please note that it is not mandatory for students to take an honors level course to be prepared for AP or IB coursework in the future. That's a big question. If they don't take honors freshman English, will they be able to take AP or IB classes? Yes, they will still have that opportunity, but honors coursework does give them a taste of what the rigor is like. Honors classes, some of them have summer assignments, and you'll notice that the ones that are denoted with an S on the contract have a summer assignment. Those assignments will be posted on our CHS website in June, and with subsequent instructions about what needs to be done. If any books need to be picked up from the library, that will be available at that time. Okay, so before we conclude, just a little bit about the electronic course selection. As we have said, that is due tomorrow. So hopefully tonight's information will help those of you who are in the process of still making those selections. Likewise, after you enjoy the open house event that is following our presentation, you'll get a chance to maybe solidify some of your decisions about the electives that your children are choosing to take. Please note that in the absence of us receiving your course requests, then we will choose those courses for you. We'd really rather you make those choices. Counselors will review the course requests. So especially for classes that if students are requiring or requesting honors courses or higher level courses, we will be looking at their English grades and their math grades to make sure that their placement in those classes are appropriate. Again, the prerequisite checks will be made after your June grades are available to review. So we know that now, early mid-March, you may not be in the same place that you are at the end of the school year, but that information will be reviewed when we kind of click to make sure that your final courses are solidified. And with that, I want to thank you so much for listening in. We do have the chat open for questions and answers. I know my colleagues have been checking that to answer questions. So please do feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Again, this presentation is being recorded. It will be available on the CHS website so that you can go back and review it, because we know it's a lot of information. And so again, thank you so much for attending this evening. I'll go to the Q&A as well.
Okay, first question in the Q&A. Can you please discuss dual enrollment with community colleges? Can my students start as a freshman?
Dual enrollment is an option at Claremont High School, but for freshman year, we do not have any options for freshmen to take dual enrollment courses. Dual enrollment will open up in sophomore year for students. And dual enrollment is basically an agreement for students to take a college course, but on our campus. They don't have to travel to the college to take it. The courses earn both high school credit, typically 10 high school credits, and a separate transcript is posted with usually 3 college units that students can take with them after graduation for whatever step they have after their diploma.
Thank you. Next question. If a student starts with honors English and they find it too rigorous, can they change once school has begun?
It is possible sometimes to exit a course that is too challenging and lower the level. However, we always don't have room to make so many changes. So one guide can be doing the summer assignment. And if you're feeling that the summer assignment is too much, then that could be a good gauge that you do want to ask for a level change. And you could ask for that change during the summer by communicating with the high school.
Excellent, thank you. Next question here. If a student is enrolled in Integrated Math 8, Integrated Math 1 as an 8th grader, the combo, and they take Integrated Math 1, 2 as a freshman, will they take Integrated Math 2 as a sophomore and 3 as a junior? Go ahead, Ms. Aber.
The progression would be if your student is currently in Integrated 8/1 this year, next year should be Integrated 1, 2, followed by 2, 3 in sophomore year.
Excellent. Next question. If a student with an IEP takes honors classes, do their accommodations change?
The accommodations remain the same for a student with an IEP. They do not change with the level of the course selected.
Thank you. Next question on here, where can we get a matrix of requirements? I will type in that chat a direct link to that. Actually, I think somebody just did. Thank you, perfect. So that is on the CHS website under course selection. So CHS website, counseling, course selection, that'll take you to that matrix. It's on the right-hand side. Next question, what classes are offered in summer? Is there something he can take in summer to make his load lighter in the fall, spring, so that he can take any other classes he might be interested in?
I don't mind answering that one. Most of our summer coursework is for remediation. And so most incoming freshmen will probably not qualify to take any of the summer courses. So in other words, if a student is a current freshman and they had difficulty or didn't pass that freshman English class with a C or better, then they would be encouraged by their counselor to retake that class. As they move up in level, there are a few opportunities, usually not until maybe the junior or senior year, in which some senior level courses such as government and economics, pre-calculus, but generally most of the coursework in summer is for remediation. Now, our summer school applications are not yet available. They will be available soon. But again, most incoming rising freshmen typically aren't taking our classes in the summer.
Thank you. Next question. We submitted the course selection already. Are we able to review the selections just to make sure we selected the right ones? The Google form does not enable us to do that. If you have questions, I would suggest emailing directly to your student's counselor for next year. But unfortunately, we cannot do that with the Google form. Next question, do sports count as electives or extracurricular? How flexible are the teachers if there is a schedule conflict?
Most of the sports teams have conditioning and travel when we're so fortunate to have a regular competition schedule outside of school hours. Sports activity earns PE credit, and anything above the 20 PE credits goes towards that elective bank. So if your student is very physically active and they do multiple sports over the 4-year period, they will accrue credits continuously for that sports activity. As for accommodations for early release, yes, we do periodically have students who have to leave early for their sports team, and they are excused for that, and they will be given the opportunity to catch up on their schoolwork because they are participating in a school event. So there will not be a penalty for that.
Thank you. Next question, when can the Tech Ed exam be taken?
The Tech Ed Challenge exam is offered 3 times per year by the district. If your student took computer survey at El Roble and passed, they have already met the Tech Ed requirement for the high school diploma. And there is one more challenge exam pending this school year. It should be late spring that the district will have the 3rd and final Tech Ed Challenge exam of this academic year. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you. Next question, how should I complete the course description, or I'm assuming the course contract or course selection form, if I don't have a CUSD email? So all students who are currently students at El Roble have both a CUSD email and a Google account. It is the Google account that students need to complete the course contract or course request form. If you are a new student to Claremont coming from outside of our district, a separate process will be put in place through our student services department for those students. That is not live yet. We are working on that currently to find the best way to serve and to get the course requests from those students.
Mr. Trost, I do want to add, I've been asked in the chat maybe 5 or 6 times, students want to know who their counselor is. I have posted it repeatedly, and really it's just go to our website and go to the counseling page and you'll see a breakdown right there. So you can go to the website or look in the chat, and I've posted it there, and it will give a breakdown specifically by last name, as well as our email address and our contact information.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Question, can you go over the sports slide in the beginning again? I'm assuming just they're asking for more information about the sports and what's coming up there.
So if you'll go to the Claremont High School website, there is an athletics tab just below the picture of the high school. And the athletics web pages are really comprehensive, listing both the varied sports that we field. I think it's 24 sports that we field at Claremont High School, and then indicating all the information you need to know. There's links for the athletic clearance. There's information for each sports team, when they start conditioning, who the coach is, and then general questions can be asked of Mr. Collins, Collins. Mike Collins is our athletic director. His phone number is 624-9053, extension 30415. He's very responsive.
I've also posted in the chat to a link to that website where it has all of the athletic information. That's in the chat as well.
Thank you. Next question. If a student is hoping to transfer to CHS from another district, do they have to wait until accepted to register for classes? And the answer to that is yes. We cannot enter anything into our system until they've been accepted by our district office. Second part of that question, how would that impact honors classes and summer assignments? So classes aren't assigned to students until August. Right now, we are taking students' requests, meaning what they want to take, so that we can assign them in August, but nothing is actually assigned to a student until August. So that does not impact any student's ability to get into an honors class. In terms of summer assignments are always posted on the CHS website, typically in June. Next question. How do I enroll and fill out the form online without an ID? I'm assuming this is from a student who's not within our district. And again, there's a separate process being put in place for that.
The forms were created for students currently enrolled at El Roble, our middle school in the district. If you are not a current El Roble student, there will be a pause before you can register until all the registration enrollment is completed by the student and family.
Okay, next question. If you have an IEP, do you still submit your form and go over it later with your counselor?
Yes, if you have an IEP, please go ahead and make your selections. El Roble students who have an IEP will be having a meeting with their case carrier from El Roble and with the counselor at Claremont High School that they will be working with in the next few weeks to confirm course requests to ensure accurate decisions.
Thank you. Next question. Is freshman world language only an elective?
Okay, I'll take that question. World language is an elective because it's not a requirement for graduation. It is a requirement for students who would like to keep the option open of attending a four-year college. So if you recall, 2 years of the same world language are a requirement for college admission. For graduation, a student can take either a year of language or a year of art or a year of career technical education. Okay, so world language is considered an elective because it's not a requirement, but it's encouraged for students who are looking at four-year colleges in their post-graduation plans.
Thank you. Next question. Can you walk through how we would get access to the summer homework for honors freshman English?
I can take that one. Typically, that is on our school's website. It's not up yet, but historically, it's on the front page when you look up Claremont High School. And again, it would be late spring, early summer. So be checking our school's website at that time. It's not up yet.
Next question. When does registration for summer school start?
In a few weeks, but the majority of 8th grade students would not have a summer school alternative at Claremont High School. Claremont High School's summer school is, generally speaking, remedial. It's for students who earned a D or an F in a graduation requirement or a college prep requirement that they're trying to remediate. After 9th grade, students may have the opportunity to enroll in the enrichment portion of our summer school, which typically has courses in pre-calculus, chemistry, and some of the dual enrollment citrus courses. But as 8th graders, the enrichment option is not yet available.
I'll also add, because I saw another question here about summer school and if they're going to be in person, hybrid, online, and it is going to be a combination. Once summer school information comes out, you'll be able to see specifically which ones will be hybrid and which ones will be solely online.
Okay, a couple more questions about summer school. One about honors English. I believe that's talking about the summer assignment, so I think we just answered that. And then another question, is there an option to take summer classes should they wish to?
At this time, the only options for 8th graders for summer school would be those students who were going to be identified by the Enroll staff as needing additional help in mathematics. And there will be a support mathematics class, a readiness class, but that is to assist with the math support for identified students in 8th grade who are struggling in math this year.
I'll also add on to that because this becomes a pretty popular question, not only this year, but as students move on. In summer, I know students often ask about taking summer classes because they want to get ahead. That's not something, in very rare occasions, is it something that we offer. But the reason that we don't is you have to think about it. A full year course is 36 weeks. A summer course is typically 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks at most. It's impossible to learn 36 weeks of material in that short amount of time. That's why you're going to find most summer school is remedial. And so just something to think about if you're thinking, hey, I'd love to take classes to get ahead. That's not something that we recommend, except in a very few cases, but nothing at this point for freshmen, incoming freshmen.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Cizik. Next question. If a student is hoping to transfer to CHS from another district, would they be able to audition for musical theater?
So auditions for certain activities are for all students, both residents and out of district students. And if you are registering later because you're waiting for approval to attend, you will have an opportunity to audition later as well. And the audition information is on your open house flyer too, for certain auditions coming up.
Excellent. Next question. What is the criteria to enroll in ASB? Can a student take ASB for more than 1 year? I'll take that one. So the criteria to enroll in ASB is to either be elected from the student body or be appointed. There are appointed positions that students can interview for. Can a student take ASB for more than 1 year? Absolutely. We have students who take ASB all 4 years.
Hey, Mr. Trosh, I'll jump in. I apologize. I was trying to unmute myself. I actually just spoke to Mr. Hernandez today because I had a student ask about that. And let me just share with you that there'll be 5 positions for each class. It's going to be class president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and 2 class reps. Enroll will be running their own election for the current 8th graders, going to be 9th graders, before the end of the school year. And I know Mr. Trosh had mentioned that there's also some, there's the elected positions and the chosen positions. Those do not occur until junior or senior year. So if you are an 8th grader and you'd like to be part of ASB, you will need to run for one of those 5 positions and be elected. So if you select ASB on your registration form, I encourage all students to pick an alternate in case you are not elected to that position.
Excellent, thank you. Next question. If your grade is down while you are doing a sport, will you get kicked off?
A 2.0 GPA is required as eligibility to play sports. If your grades decline during your sport, as long as you maintain the 2.0 overall, you'll be okay. But one low grade will not torpedo your season. It's a 2.0 overall.
Okay. Next question. Do you have mixed classes for IEP students? Can they follow the college track even if they're on a certificate route? Does an IEP student request the course request from the Google Doc? So yes, we would like students with an IEP to request the courses from the Google Doc, primarily so we can ensure that we have the right electives. There are IEP meetings that are being scheduled to transition students from the middle school to the high school that counselors will be attending so that we can ensure we have the right courses for the students. So while there will be, while we are asking you to complete that form, we also recognize those are unique circumstances and will be part of those transition meetings that are being scheduled by Enroll.
I would just add to that, that because this came up in a meeting I had today with a parent, you may not see a designation on the Google Doc that indicates it's a special education course. That's okay. That's deliberate because we know that we will be meeting with those students and families prior to or during the season. And so if you don't see it designated as a special education course, not to worry, that will be reviewed in the coming weeks. I'm not quite sure. I know there's a question specifically about Spanish, and I might be off in terms of where we are, but the question came up about if a student has certain skill sets in Spanish, would they go into a heritage class? How is heritage compared to regular Spanish? And these are good questions, which it's good that we're having open house tonight, because I would encourage families to indeed visit the courses that are listed on the open house flyer. Of course, our teachers aren't going to know your student's ability level, but some general questions about course expectations. The intention of the night is really so you can get a sense of, what is this course like? Does it seem like it's something that I would find interesting? Does it match my ability level? And so again, whereas the specifics about your child may not be addressed, I think some of those questions about the comparing of the more accelerated class to the standard class could best be answered by visiting those courses.
Okay, next question. If I have a returning CUSD student who is homeschooling this year but attended Enroll last year, do they need to use the same CUSD email? Their CUSD email, their CUSD email will not change. That will remain the same. If I'm not sure if it's still live or not, that is not a question I have access to answer. So that is a question that would need to go through our student services office. Next question, when will registration start for transfer students? Anybody want to take that one?
I can answer it. Sorry, I was answering questions. I think I got it. So for registration, you'll need to work with the district office. Basically, we are given a list, and that tells us that that student has completed, submitted all of the required materials. And at that time, we will hold a meeting. Typically, that meeting occurs at the end of May. If you recall what Mr. Trosh said, scheduling is not done until the summer, typically July and August. So just because you may not be meeting with counselors until May, be accepted until May or even June or later, it doesn't mean you're not going to get your classes. But we try and, if all materials are submitted, we get a list. We try and hold a meeting by the end of May. Last year, I think we even held some throughout the summer. So it really just depends on the district. So you'll need to start there as far as seeing where you're at in the process and what the timeline is, because it has varied a little bit in the past.
Thank you. Just for my counselors, we have about 10 minutes before we need to log off so that admin can use the webinar system for their next meeting. So I will answer some of them individually. Some of them are very personal or very individual. I'll try and ask general questions here. Are you supposed to do summer assignments for honors classes despite knowing if you are in the class?
If you've requested the course, you will most likely have the class as long as you are meeting the prerequisite for that class. So I would do it. Again, make sure you're meeting the prerequisite for the honors class.
And also historically, the high school will notify students to let them know about the summer assignment being required and inviting you to use our library to retrieve any books you may need for that summer assignment. I should also indicate too that the summer assignment is graded. It is part of your fall semester grade. So again, if you change your mind and you don't wish to do honors English, you can exit. The sooner we know, the better, though, to make sure that all students are properly served.
Okay, next question. During the kids' orientation on Monday, they said they were going to be a couple of classes, possibly in summer, like art classes at Citrus. Did this change?
I'll answer that. Though that has not changed. Those are classes we will be offering this summer, but I can tell you that priority goes to upperclassmen. Those are dual enrollment classes. So first it will go to seniors and then down from there.
Okay.
We have another question. Do students with a 504 plan also work with counselors regarding their plan, continuing the plan into high school? And the answer is yes. We are very, very fortunate. This year, we had another counselor that was added that is our support counselor that deals specifically with 504s. And those plans carry over from El Roble and are sent to all teachers. Actually, you know what? I will let Mrs. Ciccarelli talk a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Ciccarelli, and we hold annual 504 review meetings. The 504 plans are sent to the teachers at the beginning of each semester and uploaded into our student information system. If you have any questions or concerns, my information is on the CHS counseling website, and you can email me when school starts and we can discuss it, but the 504 plans will be emailed from El Roble, so we will have them. But if you have any questions, please let me know.
Excellent. Next question. Would you please provide a matrix for choosing the subsequent math classes?
There is a math flowchart that we can upload on the website, but honestly, there are lots of options at Claremont High School for mathematics. Many students start at one level and really develop their strength and their talents. And we do have options at the high school to accelerate math. And we also have options to decelerate math if you've been going a little too fast for yourself. There is a flow chart, and we can have that posted up shortly, but there are lots of options for mathematics at Claremont High School. And we can address that with your students once they start their freshman year also.
Okay. Are there any alternative sites nearby to take tech ed this summer?
I did post in the chat, Claremont High School will not be offering it this summer. However, the SLICE program, we've been told, will be offering it again. We also have some other options. A lot of schools are late in sending out their summer school information due to funding and trying to figure out what the plan would be. And so I would encourage you to, if that's something you want to do, to reach out to your counselor. I know Options for Youth offers it. Method has been one in the past, although they are limiting their registration this summer. So I would say maybe in a few weeks, contact your counselor and see if we've received any more information. But at this time, we don't have any information.
Thank you. Okay, if we have further questions, who can we email?
Sorry, I started to type. I think I typed it to somebody. You can email your child's counselor. I have posted that in the chat. It is on our website as far as our contact information, trying to figure out who your counselor is, as well as their contact information. So I would start there. Also, there's another question, is there another orientation for students coming from outside the district? And yes, there is. I did mention that earlier. Typically, we hold one the end of May. We've also offered them throughout the summer. It really depends, once again, on the district. Once they give us a list, we will set a meeting date at that time and notify parents so that you can meet with counselors and complete the registration process for selecting classes.
And last question, if you have a 504 plan, do you have 2 counselors? You will still have 1 counselor who is your main counselor who carries your case, and that is assigned by Alpha. You will have Ms. Ceccarelli who will work with you and ensure that your 504 plan is sent out to teachers and assist you with the accommodations and making sure everything's squared away there. So you will kind of have 2 counselors.
There's also a question about vaccinations required to high school. I do know that there's some for middle school. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what they are, if there are requirements for vaccinations, and I'm not talking COVID. I believe it's general vaccinations. I would encourage you to contact the district office and they will put you in touch with one of our health, one of our nurses probably, who can answer that question.
Perfect. I got one more question in here. Will IEPs at CHS get a case carrier? And that is a yes. So our students who have an IEP will have their own case carrier at CHS, just the same as they have the case carrier at El Roble.
And if I could just add one thing, I believe we've mentioned to families that we'll have on our website, you can see the breakdown of the counselors so that you know who your child's upcoming counselor is at the high school, who they will have for the next 4 years. We'll look forward to working with them. With that, I will add that we are registering all grade levels. This time of year, we have technically 5 grade levels if you consider our incoming 8th graders as well as our seniors. And they're all either registering or making very big decisions right now. And so the volume of our emails are very, very high. So please do recognize that we are getting a lot of emails. So we will welcome your questions. Just know that the turnaround is in the context of questions regarding registration for multiple grade levels at this very same time. But yes, our information is on the CHS website.
At this time, we have to end our webinar. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. So many great questions. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks.